Hey guys, I'm live. Waiting for my co-host Rebecca. We're actually just waiting for the Zoom meeting to start. I have it up and it says that the host is preparing to start the meeting, and hopefully that's going to go soon. Hopefully I can see you guys in the chat. If you have any questions ahead of time, go ahead and post them in. We're going to talk about a variety of different things today. It's going to be awesome. And just going to get started in a moment or two. So we're going to hang on. But like I said, if you're here already, if you're early, go ahead and drop some questions into the comments here. And I'm just going to get some things set up because I'll probably end up sharing my screen at some point and getting rid of my reminders and my notifications. And we're getting ready to go. This is going to be awesome. We're doing crowd success open forum. And let me share that screen so you can see that. And I'm going to do share screen. And I'm going to share desktop too. All right. So here's what we're going to be doing today. Crowd success open forum. I'm just waiting for the Zoom meeting to start so that Rebecca, my co-host, actually comes in. If you're on the stream, go ahead and let me know where you're from today. All right. Don't know what the delay is, but if you guys have any questions about digital marketing, business tips, or just using Zoom, it'd be great. I've been learning more and more about technology lately, even when it comes to Zoom, Calendly. Today, actually, I had to set up a group event, which was pretty cool. I'll probably end up talking about that because I think that Rebecca's starting the meeting now, which is going to be awesome. So let me go ahead and join with computer audio. Hello. Can you hear me? Oh, I'm muted. Hello.
There you are.
There I am. Technology at its best.
Yes, absolutely. So hopefully we have one person on the line still right now, and we have a little over a dozen folks signed up. I sent them an email. I think you got one, right?
Yeah, what was funny is I didn't think I had to register because I thought I was going to be a VIP and get the link, but I forgot that you never sent one. And then I freaked out like 5 minutes ago, registered, finally got it. It was weird because I couldn't copy and paste. I had to actually like type it in and then the password, but I got it right. So we're here. We're all trying to figure this technology stuff out these days.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So, yeah, I think we have another, let's see.
And we are live on my YouTube and my Facebook pages. So if anybody wants to chime in with questions there, please do so. I'm trying out a new tool called Video StreamYard, which is pretty cool. Just paid for the professional version of that because I'm going to do some things called Hang with Hank, which this is part of today.
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yes, that's very cool. Hang with Hank. I like that a lot. Let's see. So we have multiple registrations from one person. I don't know if they're not seeing the links or not. I'm going to send it to them again.
Folks, if you're on my streams, go ahead and ask any questions, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have, and I just got messages from a couple of folks, so I know they're coming on. The question is, where are they?
I don't know, because I think if it's just in the invite that you send out, it's like I said, it's just kind of hard to get into it because they have to manually do it.
I sent an email to everyone this morning.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, we have more people coming in.
Right.
Hi, Tom.
While he's probably getting his audio squared away out, something I figured out with Calendly. Oh, there you go.
Yes, we can hear you.
You can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Verizon clear.
How's that? Better?
Yeah, we can see you now.
Good. Let's get some volume on here. Oh, there we go. How's that?
Good. We all wish we were skiing right now.
Yeah. Well, that's me ice climbing.
Oh, ice climbing. There you go.
Ice climbing. Yeah, I wish I was ice climbing right now, too.
All right, so bear with me. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk for a minute here, Hank, because I have a couple folks that are pinging me for the
Right. Well, for me,
yeah.
I'm hoping to learn more. I'm very technical. I work doing a lot of stuff with integrations API for the company I work for in marketing. I work with a lot of tools, but I've been learning so much lately. Things I didn't know about, like Zoom and Calendly, and this is going to be great to share ideas. That's probably what this meeting is going to be about. Not everybody is a specific expert in everything, but we all can just help each other get through all of this, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, we've had sorry. All right, go ahead. I'm actually still copying and pasting, sending these. So we have.
That's fine. We'll all be Zoom experts soon.
I've been on Zoom for quite a while, actually, a couple of years. But right now I'm in email. I'm new to this event platform. That's my challenge. Right
Okay.
now. So, we have another one coming in. That would be Joe. Hello, Joe. We can't hear you yet, but we're waiting to hear you if you're going to chime in or if you're just listening, I guess.
Rebecca, do you use Calendly at all?
I do. I use Calendly, Zoom. Yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
So what I did for
Good.
Well, I was gonna say, what I did for an event I have coming up, I want multiple people to be able to come on a Zoom call. So what I did is I found a way in Calendly to book, like up to 50 people can book, and they'll all get the same Zoom link, which I really liked.
Right. Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, so here we go.
I don't think my computer likes that I'm doing live streaming and a Zoom call at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I didn't want to get too crazy. I was actually going to try and get it on LinkedIn Live too, but since this is our first group, it's kind of a drop-in. It's not a presentation. It's a drop-in call. So we're basically here to just collaborate, discuss, and share, and support, and all that good stuff. Then I just thought I would kind of leave it kind of flexible and casual, and let's see what we end up with. But I guess, yeah, so you know what, I think I've answered everyone's emails. Hopefully I haven't missed anyone that has just registered. You can check one more time.
And Joe, did you figure out your audio yet? I guess not. We'll see if he gets in on the audio hopefully shortly.
Joe, are you there?
He should be. He's unmuted and he's got mic, it looks like.
Yeah, he might be just listening. I don't know. I'm not for sure. He hop in, but he might be having technical difficulties.
Are you following me?
So Tom, what's new with you? What's up? I see your chair, but you left your seat. So I think
I'm here.
Oh, you are.
I'm making coffee.
I love the backdrop. Is that a green screen or is it actual wallpaper?
Thank you. I fell through a crevasse in Mount Rainier in 2009, and there's a picture of me.
Whoa! Well, we're glad you're here.
You can go online and read all about it. All you got to do is Google Delmar man survives crevasse fall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my claim to fame. Yeah.
Your claim to fame.
That's my claim to fame.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you
Thank
survived
you.
that crevasse.
Thank you. And
Wow.
I'm enjoying my sabbatical.
Yes, all our forced.
That's how I framed it. You know, this is my calendar. This is my calendar for March, and I don't know if you can see. I don't know.
Your green screen just took it over.
You know?
He's like the Invisible Man.
Yeah, you're like the invisible man. What are you doing moving back there? Holy cow! Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. So anyway, my calendar has all these X's in it, and as you know, you have X's on your calendar, and basically everything's been canceled for April. So I'm like, screw it, man. April's my sabbatical month. I got food, I got toilet paper, I got money. I'm going through like every drawer in the house, every room in the house, and decluttering everything. I just did the bathroom today. So
Wow.
that's my advice is like, you know, sometimes the house is like so big, you don't want to, you know, we all have to downsize. We got crap everywhere. I just take like one drawer at a time. And I'm like, wow, April's got 30 days. The house is going to be immaculate after that, right?
Yeah, because it looks like we'll be in our homes for several more weeks to come, at least in New York. So.
You know, people are like, oh, I'm bored at home. I'm like, get all that crap done.
Oh yeah.
You know, like 3 weeks ago, people were like, I don't have enough free time. It's like, you have free time now, do something.
Really good. I think
And now when we go back to work,
pushing out.
yeah, and then when we go back to work, people are going to be like, what are you doing? I have no time at all.
Yeah. What excuses are people going to have now?
Crazy.
I think what you bring up, Tom, though, is like what I think a lot of folks, it's the silver lining, right? Because none of us really could plan for this, and it has been really super disruptive. But I think one of those, the silver lining, if there has to, there always is something good that comes out of even the worst circumstances, I believe. That it's giving us a chance to reassess, realign. And I find that I'm having
Hey, Jim.
a much easier time to, hi Jim. I'm having a lot more success connecting with people that, I haven't maybe talked to in a while. Or Hank and I actually met at a conference several months ago. We actually got on Zoom a few days ago and thought we brainstormed this up because it was something I really just wanted to do because I know a lot of folks are struggling with this transition to the virtual space and some of the thing you talked about, Tom, just, not knowing exactly how to fill their calendar. I never had that problem because I'm just always I'm overstimulated in the head. I can't even sleep at night. But I think a lot of folks are struggling with the virtual piece. How do they transition? How are they, I think some of the things that I struggle with is, and maybe, actually I'm wondering, like Jim, maybe, or Jim, Jim might try a little bit when it comes to this because I think people are just more connected humanly. Like we're just taking a pause and realizing what's really important, and I think we're realigning our priorities. But I really feel strongly like we have to try and resemble or assemble things, as many things as we can possibly keep normal. We really should try, because anyone that we can hire, that it's a trickle down thing, right? So anything that we can maintain, and those of us that maybe I think everyone revenue has contracted for everyone, right? So now is the time for us to invest in each other. But I feel like we have to keep things moving. And I actually got it kind of took me back. I got a private message from someone who I really respect. And I won't say who it is. I'm not going to say gender because it might give it away. But this person kind of let me know, people aren't really in that mindset right now. And I'm like, people don't want to think about the future? Like, wow, yes, we do. That more than ever, I think we need to think about the future. But what are your thoughts on this, Jim? You're a wise person. I'm sure you've been encountering this with some of the executives that you coach and educate. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, the curious thing about what we're in the midst of right now, and Joanne, my wife, and I were just talking about this today, this is not much different than what our normal life is like. Now, maybe that's because 11 years ago we made the decision to fundamentally change how we go to market. We basically moved to Florida. We live in a 55 or older community. I cheated to get in this 55 or older community.
Yes, you did. You look way too young for that.
I'm about 49 years old right now, and they're closing in on me, trying to move me out.
I can see why. I can totally see why.
I qualify. But the reality is it's not much different than what's going on. The thing that concerns me is the dynamic that relates to the quality of human interaction that people are having with one another. Because there's a sector of the people that we're in contact with that are really having problems dealing with this. And they're going off the deep end. And that includes family.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We got back from a cruise. We had 3 cruises planned. And, the reality was we were the last cruise out of Miami and the last cruise to dock back in Miami. The 15-day notification came while we were on the cruise ship. And we are being shamed by many facets of our family and people that we interact with. We made a conscious decision before going on the trip. We would seclude ourselves and put ourselves into self-quarantine. Yet the dynamic is very interesting on how people are dealing with things. The quality of the human interaction would be the biggest piece that I'm concerned with. Yes, it's affected our business. We have virtually no income at this point because all classes are canceled. And while we're in the process of going to a
Virtual.
platform like this, I use this platform for all of my coaching, and pretty much anybody that wants to be coached at this point is not doing anything.
Right.
That includes a body of volunteer work I do with SCORE. This past year, I became a SCORE volunteer, and we have 50 mentors as part of SCORE organization. And I would tell you that most of those people are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah. I think you brought up something that I find really interesting that I'm encountering as well, and I'd like to hear from other folks on the call. And I kind of alluded to it before you said this, Jim, but I think you're honing in on something, because I got that email from that person, that private message, and it really took me back. I think there's just really two directions of traffic, or maybe there's just two lanes. And one is thinking they're panicking and they're immobilized by fear, and they're just unable to navigate this, and maybe because they're not in control of other things. So really at the end of the day, when it comes to business, business is a reflection of what's going on with us internally, personally, right? So if we're in a good place, we're going to be able to rebound. Our business is going to be healthy. Our career is going to be healthy. And when something like this happens and it takes us back, not only is it an opportunity, but I think it's a mindset shift, because if you're not in the mindset, like right now, that this is, I started my business just before 9/11. Talk about a bet. This is like very similar to that feeling to me. In that it was like probably the worst time that year to start a business. And yeah, it was a really horrible time to start. But I used that time. I was ramping up, and when everything got over that initial Tom, do you have any thoughts on that? You counsel a lot of folks.
I do have some thoughts on that. Number one, I wanted to thank you for having me on the call.
My pleasure.
Number two, I belong to a leads group called the Bethlehem Business Builders. We meet in person twice a month. We're meeting once a week now, just to offer encouragement and support. So I just throw that out as an idea. I don't know if you want to meet with me once a week. That's a lot, even for my family. Obviously this has given us a lot of time to reflect. What I've learned is we glorify busyness. We let busyness claim all our priorities. And now we're being asked to stop and reflect. And that's what I do as a career counselor. I help people with life goals and that kind of thing. But when they come to my office, the first step is self-assessment, then career exploration, then action plan. Right. So in self-assessment, you're looking at your values, your interests, your personality traits and skills. And the way I do that is through career testing. So this is an excellent time for people to be thinking about what are your short-term goals, what are your long-term goals. And the question I always have for people is, what are you learning about yourself right now? Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. I teach rock climbing. When somebody comes down from a route at the climbing gym, I don't say, do this, do this, do this, do this. I say, what are you learning about yourself? And I think, to your point, Rebecca, we are going to be better people. This is our World War II. This is our Great Depression. And, when we came out of the Great Depression, you know what people did? They saved money. My mom's got so many yogurt containers in the house. I'm going through them all because, wow, you might need a yogurt container. What the hell you need a yogurt container? 25 of them? Really? That along with the coffee mugs, I think we're going to be better savers. I think we're going to treat each other better. I think we're going to be, I'm hoping we're going to be more huggy-lovey.
Right.
After the distancing thing, you think?
Yeah, it's like, my daughter was in Italy, and she arrived home safely. She was in self-quarantine at her mom's house for 2 weeks, and I just saw her on Tuesday. We met at the high school parking lot and talked to each other from each other's cars, and I thought to myself, this looks like a drug deal going down.
Oh, no.
And then we went for a nature walk yesterday, 10 feet apart. And then we had pizza. She got the pizza, put it on the roof, put it on the hood of the car. And of course I had to wipe it down because the viruses can be on the cardboard.
Right.
So things like that. I just think that this is a very special time. We shouldn't squander it. We shouldn't be longing for busyness, and we should self-reflect. The governor said this is the time, and I really appreciate what he said, and that is social distancing, spiritually connecting. And I think, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking at every day like, wow, this is a sabbatical. I got a doctoral degree and 15 years of experience, and I never got my sabbatical, so I'm going to take it right now.
Right.
The other thing is, God bless our president, but I think it's delusional that the economy is going to be getting going on Easter. That is a fantasy. That's not happening.
Right. On the business side, there's somebody I'm connected with on LinkedIn, Rachel David. If you don't know her, follow her. She's pretty cool. But she was actually recently taking time off from creating content because it was stressing her out before this happened. But she posted startups founded during the last recession from 2008 to 2010 include Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Pinterest, WhatsApp, Square, and Venmo. And then she said it's going to be okay. So I think it's what you do during these times to strengthen your business, or if you want to start a business, that's going to matter in a few months from now.
One more point I'd like to make, and that is, to your point, Rebecca, is people are fearful, and I see myself as a leader. I'm not going to cave to that. So every day on Facebook and social media, I'm posting something, and today's was hope will not be canceled. Okay, and doing the hashtag, stay home, stop the spread, save lives. And my mom lives with me. She's 84 years old. I mean, I am like
a feeling thing. I'm going to open it up for anyone that has any questions or needs. Like, what's your ask right now? Why are you here today, and what do you need, and how can we help? Anybody?
Well, let me put out something now I'm kind of struggling with a little bit. It's when I'm at the office, it's easy for me to get up and go get water, go to the bathroom, take the long way around the office and get a lot of steps in. When I'm working in my home office, it's a lot harder for me to actually stop and go take a walk outside. And the kitchen's right around the corner from my office. What are some ways maybe I can force myself to get up and go do something and not feel like I have to get everything done, because now I've taken it on myself to be a go-giver and do calls like this and keep putting out content to help others, but I don't think I'm helping myself enough.
Right. And I think I personally talk out those cobwebs and give you a fresh perspective, it works for me every single time. And if I can't go outside, I'm on the treadmill, I'm putting my headphones on. My husband laughs at me when I don't sing very well, but I'm out there, I'm on that treadmill swinging my heart out. So, but it really makes a difference. It really, really makes a difference. You have to schedule it in. It's really, I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts on that, but I think, Joe, you were doing something. You were telling me last time we spoke, you were telling me about something you were doing to kind of keep those mental wheels going, weren't you?
Like, for example, I go to bed a little bit before 10. I get up a little bit before 7. So I am getting 9 hours of sleep. So I'm totally rested. Then what I do is I let the dog out, and then I actually do watch the news. I want to stay up on the news, but I think it's really important to limit it because it's a 24-hour news cycle. So then, after I've had my breakfast and my coffee, I do all of my phone consultations, my resume critiques in the morning. I listen to the governor's address, and by 12 o'clock, I'm done with news or anything like that. And then the cleaning starts and the downsizing, and I'm looking at it in a great way. And then what I do is at 6 and 6:30, I watch the news. And then my dog and I go for a run. We go on the rail trail. If you go at 7 o'clock at night, there's nobody there. I did go at 3 o'clock the afternoon the other day, and I felt like it was like kryptonite. There was like so many people there, and I was really paranoid. So that creating that routine, I think, is good. I try to watch like one Netflix or one movie per night. I've been doing a lot of reading, so I just look at it as a time of gratitude. The other thing, Hank, is if you don't get stuff done today, there's always tomorrow, because there is no difference between Saturday and Tuesday.
Exactly.
Normally you would be like, oh, Saturday, I'm going to go do something fun. It's like, no, you do that on Wednesday.
Right. Well, I need to find a cure for the please disease because I want to please everybody.
If you don't get your stuff done today, you can get it done on April 7th, because there's no difference between now and April 7th. Really, your taxes aren't due until July. Let's have some fun.
I like it.
Thank you.
Okay, we just had Sarah join us. Hello, Sarah. Welcome.
Sarah is somebody I know. She actually is on the volunteer committee for the American Marketing Association with me.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, sorry I'm late.
That's all right.
You're fine. You're fine. We're glad you could join us. We can't see you yet, but that's okay. If you're here just by voice, that's fine too. So I think one of the things that I think most people are, Jim's posting wisdom. Everyone read the chat. If you don't have it open the chat, the chat. But I'm going to read this. Do I have your permission, Jim, to read this, or would you like to read it yourself? Well, we can't hear you for some reason.
You're more than welcome to.
No, I'd love to hear it from you. You're the wisdom giver. Share it.
Well, the comment was made about Easter. All that is a goal. And I think the important thing about flattening the curve is understanding that that's math. And we know that the exponential growth will at some point come blank or high water. It will flatten. And there is going to be something on the other side of this. If you're looking at it from a financial standpoint, look back at every other epidemic, war, and whatever that has taken place. It always comes back in multiples of where it began. And when you look at the blip right now that we've had, because even though today is a bad day, this market has come back substantially from a financial standpoint since the news came down. So that's the financial side. From the spiritual side, my wife and I know what our destiny is because we know what the ultimate plan is. People say, why did God do this if they're spiritual as we are? We believe in Christ. We believe and have a faith. We know what's coming. This is still a part of God's plan. So whatever happens on the other side, whether 7 days from now I contract this and I die, I'm going to live. And that gives me focus from the standpoint of a spiritual goal, relational goal. I think those of you that are talking about continuing the work and connecting with people, that's important. Wow, what a stock to buy. Zoom, GoToMeeting. And people are interacting in ways that they did not want to accomplish the learning curve. So we flattened the understanding. My prediction is it's going to be far easier for people to interact like this and actually turn their cameras on.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody will have their camera on. I hate seeing myself.
When Sarah makes the decision to click camera on and we see that his hair is growing out and
I'm the only girl bold enough to be here. My name
and they're not getting their nails done. They're real people. They're not doing makeup.
I'll be right back.
Jim Cathcart, he's a presenter in my industry. He does a lot of programs. He did an article the other day about when you do these presentations, you should dress for success. And I love you, Jim. I hope you hear this at some point in time. When I moved to Florida, Rebecca, you could tell everybody, my style was the
Bow
picture.
tie, always suit, white pressed shirt, tie. He was polished to the T every time.
I came down to Florida 11 years ago, and I began to walk into businesses with a bow tie and a suit, and people looked at me like I had a triangular head, because nobody in Florida dresses up at any professional level. And it's not unusual for the executive who may have a jacket on and a polo shirt to stand up and be in a pair of shorts. It's 93 degrees here right now. Sorry to break the news to you. I love the picture of snow behind you, Tom, but I'm not interested. So one of these has a level of, once we come out of the flattening, how are we going to set a trajectory for where we want to be? I don't think Trump believes that it's going to be all sweet roses and glory on Easter Sunday, but he does know that there's a huge contingent of the population that thinks, wow, wouldn't that be a great plan that we have this resurgence on Easter, and when a great celebration takes place in Christian lives, and the economy comes back. It won't happen like we all want it to be. It's never going to be like it was. World War II still lives with us. World War I still lives with us. It's going to take us 100 years to get over this.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we won't accomplish goals.
Right. And we changed. And actually, I think that's the one thing that I think you said that is when everyone's reacting about the actual date, but I think as humans, we have to have an end point in mind, right? Because without, even if it's moved out a month from then, I think people will adjust. It's the mentality as humans. We have to know, we have to have something to work toward, right? So either have a plan or plan to fail. So, if we can throw something out there, because there are areas of this country that are not nearly as effective. Now, I'm in New York, we have people, Hank's in North Carolina, you're in Florida. Sarah, where are you located?
I'm in North Carolina as well.
North Carolina also. So, we have folks all over the country. Who knows who else is listening where they're located. But, there's some areas that aren't as badly hit, and they will be able to resume life more normally quickly. But I think without a date out there, it becomes really much more intimidating for folks. They have to know there's an end coming eventually, right? We have to have something to look forward to. Just human nature, and I think it just gave her. That's why the market rally. They know he's not going to let the whole country come back in a couple weeks. But I think everyone has to have some idea that this is not an endless thing. That's the part that was depressing everyone. Go ahead, Tom. I see you. Go ahead.
A couple things. To Jim's point, stocks are the only thing that when they go on sale, nobody wants to buy. I mean, if there was a car, it was $50,000 and it went on sale for $25,000, you'd be like, rush right out. If you got any cash on the sidelines, you need to buy right now. It's like, why never mind. Anyway, the other thing is about goals. I mean, I have this planner and it's month at a glance, so I can look at the whole month of April and say to myself, okay, maybe things are going to start to open up in May. What are my goals for the month? And I like Jim's 7 areas of life. I have it in a frame of 9 areas, and I'm just thinking about these different 9 areas and what I can accomplish by the end of the month. So I start the month off, here are the goals, and then at the end of the month, evaluate. Most people do not live like this. Most people are like trying to get through. The people that are struggling the most, are some people that live day to day anyway.
Right.
They don't have goals. So the people.
And I think that's the part that, once you learn, I never knew how to do planning. One of my employers, like 25 years ago, sent me to Franklin Covey time management training, and it was the biggest gift I ever had. And I've used some version. I created my own version from that. I've used some version of that my entire life since then, because that is how you achieve a goal. You have, but here's the thing: I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with okay, I'm scheduling my
Again, one thing I did is made a mistake. I'm doing the Zoom and then I'm doing the live at the same time. I don't think my internet's liking that at all. So next time I'm just going to choose one. But I think it's going okay. But I'll ask again to see if anybody has any questions.
Okay, well, while we're doing that, is there anyone on the video chat right now? Is there anything that any of us can do to help you? Is there a goal that you're trying to reach, or is there something you're struggling with? Is there a certain kind of client? Is there a certain, is there a business challenge? Are you trying to figure out what is it? Is there anyone on the video chat right now or video call right now that is there anything we can all do to help you? What can we do to help you today? Anything.
Rebecca,
Be anything. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, great. Hey, I don't have a specific challenge that I need help on. But observation about networking. I am in agreement that we should still be out there networking. We should still be out there in our digital space wherever we are. But I wanted to hear more about how you got resistance out there. Because I've been cautious all week about doing anything really aggressive, in the digital space about work.
Right.
It's all been about, hey, let's all get through this. Don't take too many trips to the refrigerator, blah blah blah. The idea is there. How do you tread lightly?
Yeah, I think that the first most important thing that I've learned, and I'd love to hear what everyone else's thoughts are, but the one thing that I've learned is, well, first of all, you can't stop everything. So, and it may rub some people the wrong way still, but that's because of where they're coming from, and we have to allow them to do that. They may be struggling. I got a thumbs up from Jim. So it may be because of where they are. We have to let them be resistant or not appreciate where we are, but we have to move forward. Think of it, we all stayed home and got into this time suck, and none of us were here today connecting, and all the folks that are watching or listening, like we weren't spending this time together, what would we be doing? And so would it be as constructive, or would we be making connections and maybe, creating relationships that we might be able to help each other. So if there's not something like really glaring right now, a week from now, if we were to reconvene a week or 10 days from now to see if there's something going on, one of us might have an ask, and because we know each other a little bit better, we might know how to help each other faster.
Right.
But as far as, tone, and I think it's, I personally am trying to balance it. I'm trying to find ways to, it's funny because I've always done a ton of gratis work, right? So it's just been my heart to, try and help people with certain things, and to try, and I'm getting a little overwhelmed with that, and I love doing it. But I guess I'm trying to balance that, and I'm trying to let people know I'm doing it, because if they don't know I'm doing it and they see just the other side of it, If they're seeing me just, like I have a crowdfunding campaign going right now, and I'm just kind of like softly, mentioning it because I'm on a time crunch. I mean, I had no control over the date that this went live because they approached me. I couldn't pull it. So, like I'm probably, it's a fraction of what I expected to happen. So I'm just kind of trying to keep it alive just because I signed with. But I'm really much more focused on, trying to look past that. I'm working on the things that are going to help me long term, the things that I want to do to help other people, because this is what the rest of my life is going to be about: trying to connect people, trying to help them find people that can solve their problems, and empowering them. And that's why I call it human AI, trying to help us connect and actually get to a higher place together. Because when we put our minds together, we can go to a different place. So, I don't know if I've answered your question, but I think it's just a balance of trying to, keep your cylinders going so that you're not unnecessarily sacrificing your business or your career, but then maybe looking at another way you can do it. Maybe if there's a balance between the investment that you're making, the give and the take. I guess the balance of the give and the take is what I would suggest.
My mantra lately has been keep moving forward amongst others. So my question or my challenge would be, I need people to network with. And that's not just because of this current crisis. I was reflecting recently on my days of network luncheons, and it sounds like Dr. Bonstead has something going on there with Bethlehem. I was involved in network lunches, and this is before the digital times. You know what? I didn't know much about insurance bonding, bonds for performance bonds and parts of that. But I always had somebody I could call and those in Pyramid. I would take my call and address the question. It was a good network that between lunches and newsletters we collaborated with. So collaboration in some shape or form with other people or knowing who to call is something that I've been distanced from for a while. Wondering if there's some digital formats out there, or should we create our own?
Right.
We're doing it right now,
Right. So, can I share some thoughts on networking really quick, especially when it comes to LinkedIn? I found that people want a network, but they seldomly want to network. I have this rule that I do not accept blind invites on LinkedIn, and there's a reason for that because I have a very strong and powerful network, and I like it. I do not get a lot of spam, but I reply to every single invite, just saying, hey, if we've met in the past, let me know, because my memory may not be serving me correctly. But how can I be of value to you? And more importantly, how can you be of value to my network? I'd love to hop on a call and get to know you, but just let me know why you chose to connect. I get less than a 40% return rate on that. In other words, people are just looking to grow the number of their network, not the quality of it. So Joe, if you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn, just give them that kind note in there and just tell them why you wanted to connect, and more people will probably accept that. And then there's probably going to be a lot more groups starting up that get away from these Facebook groups, because I think that those are a little bit more toxic, right? You want to have Zoom calls with people, and I think that's great to do. Or when we can, get back to the physical groups and meetups and start one, like you said. If you want to start one in your local area, that's great. And if you start a Zoom one, let me know. I'd love to join it.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that you might have to revisit, Joe, is that this is the future of networking, because you're not always going to be in a physical space or and you don't want to be. You and I have talked. You're not always going to be in the same physical, the same geographic location, and you want to have that mobility and the autonomy to know people. I mean, the way I use my social media, I actually try to organize it in a way so that if I'm in a certain city, I can reach out to someone in my network, because I've worked really hard to develop that network and make those connections. I can almost always find someone to meet up with in a city that I'm visiting. So, that takes years to do, but you're doing exactly what you need to do now. You just have to kind of look for new opportunities like this that aren't always in your industry too, because there are going to be people in any combination of humans. someone could open a door for you that would be much more meaningful than someone you're competing with for business. So it's really important. Jim's got a suggestion.
Here's one for you that I have found immensely helpful. My roots go back to Albany, New York. Rebecca and I met during those years. When I started my business, and I've been a curriculum developer and training presenter for about 30 years now. But when I began, money. The first bank I went to laughed at me, and they recommended that I go to another bank to get rejected, because in those days, you needed 3 rejections in order to qualify to be a client of SCORE. Now, in years past, SCORE stood for Senior Corps of Retired Executives. And in 1964, the Small Business Administration set up SCORE as a group of volunteers, which has now grown to the point where there are over 350 chapters in the United States. There are 13,000 volunteer mentors who collaborate with businesses or business leaders, whether they are beginning their businesses, they're growing their businesses, or they're in the maturity phase of their businesses. You can go to score.org. It's totally free. There is no fee. And that's the biggest challenge that we face in dealing with people. People just don't believe that the quality of interaction or engagement is what it is. Some of my associates down here in Florida are chairmen of, or chairpeople of major corporations. They've retired down to Sanibel and Captiva in the Southwest Florida area. So it's not uncommon to walk in Deloitte Touche, some of their originating executives, the chairman of Macy's Corporation, not that you want to use their financial example, but you certainly have expertise from many different directions. But you can interact with them through text, through email, through face-to-face meetings, through online webinars. But one of the most powerful assets is if you go to that website and you get familiar with it, there are several thousand webinars that have been produced on some of the topics that we've all talked about here. And they're being presented live almost every day, but you can go and get any of these to listen to them. And I have found that reaching out to these mentors is generally you get an answer back in 12 to 24 hours. So you have complete access. You can go in there, you can pick them by industry that they're in, product grouping, what their role was, and you could zero in and find somebody that you really want to work with. So that might be a suggestion in that regard.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, it's a great resource for services as well. You know, like if you're actually looking for a vendor, you know, they know if someone, if you need talent or if you need a service. I mean, I remember, oh my gosh, long before the internet, probably almost 30 years ago, I had a SCORE. You know, I was trying to figure out accounting software. We're talking 90s, okay? So, but I had someone from SCORE come and actually, you know, and it wasn't that enlightening, but it was a great connection. And, you know, it was just a great way to, you know, expand my knowledge, and they got to know a little bit about my business. And it's just, you know, there's a ton of resources available in SCORE. So I thank you for sharing that, Jim. That's
I should quickly clarify that in the number of years it's been since I originally began to work with SCORE, there's no longer a requirement that you be rejected by 3 banks.
That's good to know.
Go to SCORE and they'll give you help and advice and introduce. I now have an office right next door to the economic director of the county.
Oh, nice.
Because I walk in there, nobody uses our SCORE office. In October, I'll assume the chairmanship of 50 some odd mentors here in Southwest Florida.
Nice.
So, you know, you have access to wonderful people.
Yes. And Hank just put in the text that he's also a SCORE mentor. So we have 2 brilliant minds on this call. So thank you for sharing that, Jim. I think that's a really important. So Joe, did we give you anything to work from? Are we helping you out at all? Or
You are. I before this had not heard the score, and I feel naive that I've never heard of it in all my adventures and been involved in.
Hank will tell you that's the biggest concern we have. It's
yeah.
unfortunately it's such a secret, nobody knows about it.
Yep.
The group that we had was industry specific, so we had 80 different.
This
Yes.
networking to that level, because you're not going to have the chance to go and sit at white linen tables and network and lunch and but honestly, the benefit of that is that your network can grow exponentially faster virtually without you having to put a suit on, drive, give up that hour, and hope that something comes out of it. You could actually be in 2 or 3 events in the time that it would take you to do that and never leave your house. So it's really, one of the things. I think you just have to be willing to, and it's not a criticism, Joe. I'm just trying to help you out.
Right. And you can do it in your shorts like Jim.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Not to say, Rebecca, to your point about like being real and authentic, and then Jim shows us his legs. I mean, that's like I've been on a lot of Zoom calls, and nobody's wearing makeup. I haven't put on makeup in like 2 weeks. I mean, look at Thank you.
I need it, Tom. You don't need it.
Never go to a business meeting with a baseball hat on. I mean, this is great,
That's because of this. Let's do it.
Sarah, you have no excuse. I'm sorry. I can't give you that pass. I can wear my ball cap. I'm there at all. So
I'm on this Zoom call on Tuesday, and one of the people that I know in business, she works for Pioneer Bank. She's in her living room with a gas fireplace on. She has no makeup on. And I'm thinking, like, it doesn't get any more real than this.
yeah. I think the cool thing out of this, and I love it because where else can you see Jim Muller's legs, right? So I think it's cool because it allows us to actually become a little bit more relaxed. And so if you didn't have that background, I would never have known about you falling in for a crevasse. And when you were, I would never have known that about you.
Well, I'm actually in prison right now.
How's that working for you?
Look at this is going all over the This is great. I'm at a large gathering touching other people's faces.
Watch out. Oh my gosh. But I just think it's fun. You can have to put a suit on to sit down
Right.
and talk to people on Zoom. You know, I do it when I speak at conferences because it's protocol, right?
Right.
So, but it's really, I think it's refreshing that, you know, we can be a little more casual and be ourselves and, you know, be a little more forgiving about how we look. And it's a big thing for a woman to get over. You guys don't realize what we have to go through. I mean, I can't even look at myself right now. So
Right.
anyway, but it is. It's just, you know, we have to get over it. But it's worth it. I guess that's my perspective. It's worth sucking it up for.
Right.
You know, it's worth it.
Backing up to when you were talking about Zoom and being authentic, also, if you're going to get into a group of people you don't know, I got a tip from a local photographer. He's actually going to be on a show with me on Monday, Kevin Seifert. He talks about making a tile where you can promote yourself. So everybody just has a headshot, but what you can also do is have a headshot where you're in the corner and have text on it and promote yourself when you come on the call. And then if you had to run to the bathroom or something, God forbid you're not on your phone and taking that with you and leaving your camera on, but what you could do is promote yourself when you're not showing your video.
Yeah, if I turn off my video right now, and I don't know if everyone else does that, but if you have a Zoom account, so take 2 seconds. If you're going to use Zoom again, take 2 seconds to create an account and put your, thank you, Hank, because when you're not there, that's what you see. And I'm going to stop my video. So now you see our finish with the photo that we've chosen. And I can get up and run to the ladies' room if I need to, or I can take a swim. There goes Jim. Jim's got it too. So, you know, you can actually take a minute, or if you're in a call that you don't want to actually have to get in. So Sarah, if you were really being shy, you could just let your photo do your speaking for you on a really good hair day. So, but it's, you know, it's worth it just to create a Zoom account just to have that ability, so that if you're, you know, if you're able to attend, but you don't want to be seen, or you need to be able to step away and take a call, you're not being rude by just leaving a blank, you know, blank space or whatever. That you're basically giving people. It looks like you're still present. It looks like you're still present. You're still there, and you are still listening and you're participating. But anyway, yeah. So that's a good tip. That's a good point, Hank. Very good point. So hopefully we've helped Joe and some other people think outside the box about transitioning to this new virtual networking thing. Is there anything else? Like, is anyone else? Do we want to talk about tools maybe for a couple minutes, Hank? Like, I mean, we talked in the beginning about, I mean, I use Calendly. It's a great way to let people pick times that are really convenient for them. You know, there's so many tools available, but you know, I think
I'm actually coming out with a blog post. I work for 4 different brands. I don't know which one is coming out on, but you can probably just follow me on social. It'll come out, but it's talking about a whole bunch of tools. It's like 3,000 words long. But I use Calendly, and I actually found new ways to use that recently. I use Asana and Trello for project management. I really love Zoom and go to Webinar for webinars. So if you're doing a webinar and you just want to talk at people, go to Webinar is the best. But if you want to collaborate and have a little more intimate conversation, Zoom is obviously better. If it is good, which can move data around, like if this happens, do this. Using social media posting tools like Buffer, Hootsuite, you know, that helps if you want to start sharing more and being a thought leader. And really, I would just say get on video more, be comfortable on video, because that is the future. It's right now, but it's going to be more in the future, because I think the stat I heard last year was by 2020, 85% of marketing content is going to be video. I don't think we actually got there, but it will be. And I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, willing to talk to anyone, whether it's folks here on this call or they catch this on the replay. That's what I do. That's why I'm a SCORE mentor. I just love to help people. I love to help people grow through digital marketing mostly, but I'm very technical as well. You want to figure something out. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any tips or tricks to tools that you guys use, but I like to automate everything and try to do more with less, I guess.
Yeah, and that's huge. And actually, there was a person that's going to be on this call that lives in that space, the automation. In addition to you, Hank, I was hoping that they might be able to, you know, share some tidbits too. But you know, automation is huge, because you don't want to be doing everything manually. You want to try and automate things and let things connect with, you know, even if you have to use the Zapier hooks just to automate things, you know. So it's huge. It's huge. So, and trial and error. I mean, what works for one person doesn't always work best for the other person. There's certain things, you know, I remember for years and years and years, everyone was doing the WebEx, you know, the WebEx meetings, and we removed it from all our machines after like the first, we're going back like to early 2000s, but it kept, it sucked all our machines couldn't function. And I just had to stop using it. So I'm happy with Zoom. I mean, to me, it's a much lighter, more nimble platform, and I love the options for recording and profiles. And it's just, people seem to have an easier time adopting it, I think.
Right. Just do things. Yeah. Don't be afraid. Get out of your comfort zone. Done is better than perfect is a phrase I've been adopting lately.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we can cover. We're a little bit over time, I guess, but Sarah, is there anything particular you wanted to get out of this? Is there anything you wanted to offer or ask today?
Extroverted time is nice. Just exploring what it means to be selling in this time is hard, and it's a new role for me. I'm in talent acquisition, and I was on the recruiting side for a year and a half, and now I'm on the sales side as a client advisor with a company called Calica, and trying to figure
Different selling proposition than trying to sell a product or service. I mean, you are selling a service in a sense, but yeah, that's very interesting. What are you finding? Are you getting resistance right now? Are you finding that there's resistance to?
a lot of companies have put their hiring on hold.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's put us in a predicament of have candidates ready to go on some things, but some companies are still going and going strong and taking up. What we're finding is that a lot of people that are passively looking and that we can find on LinkedIn that normally wouldn't communicate with us are being much more willing to because of the times, right?
Right.
Well,
So that's
yeah.
fine. And so I hope that companies are able to continue hiring because I think it's a really, interesting time for them to get some really great talent that they might not normally get.
And Sarah, I've been on both sides of the fence, right? I've been a hiring manager and I've been in staffing. I think really when it comes to sales, number one, your competitors are probably not doing it, or a majority of them are not. But what you want to do is probably just meet the personal needs of the person you're reaching out to rather than any employment needs they have. Just see how you can help. And there's a great article I talk about before they, not talk about, but it was on LinkedIn. I forgot the author, but it talks about before they cheat on you, when vendors cheat on you, is because, you have a honeymoon phase and you're trying to win them and you're giving them flowers, chocolate, like a relationship. You're doing all this stuff, but then it just dies down. It's more of a check-in. Hey, how's everything going? Where you just always need to be nurturing them. And that's what you need to do right now, is just show them how you care and what can you do to help. Even if it's, hey, I know you have 4 kids and it's tough and you've been cooking at home. Here's a Grubhub gift card, electronically. Let me buy you dinner tonight to help you get through this. I'm not doing so bad right now. I can help you. Down the road, if you ever have a need, let's just talk. But I don't care about that right now. It's probably a good way to approach that.
Sarah, what space are you in for anyone
share with you is, if you reach out to me, just send me your email and I'll send it to anybody, is one of the curriculums that we developed is a probing model for dealing with indifferent customers. And I spend my time coaching people. I'm not asking for a fee. I just want to help you with that, because you can conquer that challenge you're facing. Mechanism. It will help you greatly. I promise you, the tool that I have is very simple. We can talk about it for 10 minutes and you'll get the gist of it. I'll send it to you and you can work from there. And I make that offer.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To help.
That's huge. And I think I love, first of all, Jim, you're always so generous with everyone that you that's just your nature. I'm so happy that you've joined us today because you're such a leader and you've been such an example to me, I know, in all the many years that I've known you, and how we can just support one another by giving, and it just always inspired me to try and do the same in my life too. But I think, you know, the whole thing about the connection and the indifference, I think that's golden. That, to me, that's probably one of those biggest things that we can take away from this, because there's so many people that that are overwhelmed, that, you know, they seem to be on one side or the other, right? They're either passionately moving forward or they're completely frozen in indifference. They're just frozen. They're just not acting. And I think if we can wake them up, then, you know, we don't have to worry so much about the sentiment of whether you're offending them, Sarah. You're not offending anyone. I mean, I did get that one email that I shared with the group, I think before you came on. It just really took me back. But I think that was a reflection of their struggle, of where they were, not necessarily reflecting on what I was doing, that they were offended by what I was doing. I think it was a reflection. You know, they shared that they lost $300,000 in the market that day. So basically, I think I became their whipping boy. I think they just took it out on me, and I tried not to take it personally. But I think, you know, it's just a very delicate balance. But when, you know, the one thing that came to mind for me when you were talking, that's why I wanted to ask you, you know, one of the things you said was golden. And I think for you to get out there and share that with your audience, and to let people associate that with you, is that sometimes, you know, out of these challenging times, people are going to start making moves, and it might enable someone that might become a client of yours, to allow them to see the silver lining, that they might be able to get talent they might not normally have access to. For you to gently introduce that in conversation on LinkedIn, and maybe, you know, drop into some of the LinkedIn groups and start sharing that, I think could totally allow people to see where you're coming from and maybe connect with you on a different level than you trying to just reach out and get business. You know, helping them understand and identify the opportunity, right? But not in a hungry, like aggressive way, but just like, hey, you know, if you're thinking, you know, what you're gonna, if you're wondering how you're gonna come out of this, or what you're gonna do in 30 or 60 days, because one of your people did take a job somewhere else in a different part of the country or something like that, you have to replace that talent, and maybe if there's an opportunity there. So you can help people maybe ramp up and start thinking about that by maybe, you know, posting about it, or, you know, thinking about ways to introduce that, plant the seed. They might not act today, but they might be willing to act with you in 30 or 60 days if you're starting that conversation early before everyone else jumps on the bandwagon, right? And
That's awesome.
Yeah, because you can help them, you know, you're going to help lead. I think maybe, you know, just to piggyback on what Jim was saying, and even Hank, you know, one of the things we can do is just help try and lead people, you know, see the light, you know, see like this is not a permanent thing. You know, this is crazy because a few days ago I called, and I have an aunt and uncle that live I have very little family left in the family in the state, but I have an aunt and uncle that live down just north of New York City, and they're in elderly, and I called to check on them, and their spirits were so high, and it was such a gift to me to hear they were doing great. They were just happy I was doing great, and my family, and I got off the phone, and I just thought to myself, you know, they grew up in the Depression. They, you know, their parents were in World War II, and they see this all as a temporary thing. This is a temporary life event. And I think if we all adopt that mindset, we become a little less scared, and realize that this, like, you know, Jim said right in the beginning, you know, right at the very beginning, you know, this is people have been through things like this, World War II and epidemics and pandemics and things like that. And we always come out stronger. So if we're prepared and planting those seeds, I think, I don't know, I think we can all do that. I think because I'm mentioning that to you, we could all adapt that to ourselves, try and be a leader and be a light to folks that are maybe struggling and showing them how to look past this into their future.
I love that. Maybe I'll do a bed talk. Have you heard about these bed talks?
Oh, all right. I have no, wait a minute. Are we going to be sitting in bed next time we talk to each other?
Instead of TED Talks, they're bed talks, and you sit in your bed and you talk about something important. And a lot of speakers.
Look it up.
Speakers who can't go out and do their talks and things right now are doing these bed talks, and they're hilarious. But and it's branded and everything.
Yeah, David Rendell is the first one to think of it and do it because his business is decimated right now, and he put a challenge out there, and I was the second one. So the first official that wasn't official. Yeah, I have one. He's got a YouTube playlist going with everyone. He said if you do one, send it to him and he'll promote it, and he has it on his YouTube channel. It's a playlist called Bed Talks.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay.
It's gonna be
So
a bed
now,
talk.
sir, you have to do a bed talk now.
After I dye my hair.
Just act like you just got out of the shower, sit on your bed and have your hair in a towel.
There you go. Put your robe on, your fuzzy slippers, you'll be good to go.
Just say you got inspiration when you were in the shower and you had to do a bed talk.
That's awesome. Oh gosh.
You guys are
Jim, you are just full of wisdom. I just love all these things that Jim's sharing in the chat. If you guys haven't looked at chat, you need to open it up and look at it because you are just like a fountain of wisdom today, as always.
And I hope everybody knew that I'm live streaming this on YouTube and Facebook. But if anybody has any issues, I will pull it down. Just let me know because I'm showing the chat every now and then too. So.
Issues? Why? We're all here to support each other.
I'm just, sometimes if you don't ask people, they're going to take that negative route. They're not going to be that thought leader, right? They're going to have that bad day and take it out on me.
Okay, raise your hand if you don't want to be on YouTube. This is your only chance to opt out. All right, good.
Poor Dr. Tommy, he doesn't even get the option.
Oh my gosh. Well, we have been, you know what? I thank you all. This has been great. I've really enjoyed our chat, and it's really nice to connect with all of you. Some of you I've known for a really long time. I've known Joe and Jim for a very, very long time. Hank and I haven't known each other very long. Sarah, it's been great to meet you. And I say hello to everyone that I can't see, but I know you're listening and watching, and I hope that you'll join us again when we do this and also connect with us. And tell us that you were on this so we can, approach us. We're going to all of us are here to help. I mean, I think we're just here to support one another. And if there's anything you want to talk about that you didn't have courage to talk about in front of everyone else, just ping us. And I think you're just, you're around a bunch of people that really just want to help you out. So
thank you for putting this together.
For our time together today. What'd you say, Hank?
Thank you for putting this together. It's awesome.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm so excited to be here. I'm just thrilled that, it always works out as it should with certain people that show up. So I'm so grateful for each of you. So
thank you so much for doing this. I feel so motivated and excited now.
Yeah, good. That's the whole point, right? All right. So like I said, I'm going to follow up with everyone. Jim posted his chat. He put his contact information in the chat. If you guys want to take a minute to do that, feel free. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and post it. Maybe I'll just put on the blog post. With your permission, I'll be happy to add everyone's name in a LinkedIn link, so we don't have spam going to your email. But if you're with your permission from the blog post, I'll update it with attendees for the video so people can go to the blog post on the website and get in touch with everyone. Is everyone cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll give everyone a place to get in touch with and maybe reach out if they have questions they don't want to share in public. So
Cool.
Great. Anyone else have any last bits of wisdom they want to share? Jim, do you have any parting wisdom to share with us?
Go out and create extraordinary things.
I love it.
Joe, any wisdom?
Usually we would adjourn with scheduling the next meeting. What do you got?
We'll do that when we get off the phone. We'll do you and I will do that next time. We'll do that offline.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, so Hank, thank you so much for facilitating this and co-hosting this with me. This is so great. I look forward. I'd like to do this again. So I'd like to see what everybody's doing and check in and see if we can, get some more people involved and make it more interesting. And Sarah, it's really nice to meet you. I'm so happy to meet you.
You as well.
Thanks everyone for tuning in that we can't see, and we will hopefully see you next time.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.